Well, Colin, this is not something you get to experience every day of the week. Tell us what your emotions are.
Oh, no, this is one of those special days in our lives. We're having a bite to eat and we resolved we've just got to come and see it. When else are we going to have an opportunity to see a horse that we have an interest in head off to Ascot? And so we've made our way here, and it's just a wonderful experience. This horse takes us to places that we never expect, and now we're apprehensive. We've watched it get out of the van behind us and over to the launching, well, not to the loading bay, and now just nervous.
Well, we heard Pam talk yesterday about the nerves amongst the owners. Try and quantify that for us.
A lack of sleep is one way of measuring it, and that quantifies it. But just a bit of anxiety, really. We're going in uncharted waters. We've really asked her to do something outside her zone of comfort. We want her to present herself to the world, but to do that means that we're asking her to take risks, and we hope it all goes well.
Jannene, we've heard about this massive entourage that's going across over 150 people. It must be something you've been looking forward to for a long time.
Definitely. It's just something that we never thought that we'd be involved with, but it's just so amazing, and so many people looking forward to the event, and well wishers, friends are ringing daily wishing us well, and I think all of Australia is going to be behind Black Caviar.
Do you feel any pressure?
Yes, definitely. My heart is racing. You can't help but feel nervous about what she's embarking on. As Colin said, it's very new ground for her, and we just keep everything crossed that she'll get there safely and run the good race.
Colin, she's the People's Champion.
Isn't it wonderful? And to see tonight at the airport, everyone stopped work to come over and be part of this experience. Wherever she goes, people will respond to her, and she just thrives off that. And as a result, we just see the interest that she's created from people who love horse racing to people who've never been to a race in their lives. They're just fascinated and excited by her, and they all have this wonderful emotional investment in her. It's wonderful.
And what about this opportunity to take on the Poms on their own home turf?
Yeah, we like that, don't we? She'll do very well.
She'll do very well. Jannene, what about the race day across there? We saw Karen yesterday getting the outfit together. What can we expect on the day from the owners? What are your plans when she goes to race?
Well, I think you can see the Australian fashion designers being exhibited. We're all being dressed by the Australian fashion designers and milliners. We can talk about that at another time, I think, when we're all together. But it's a great opportunity for the local designers and milliners to showcase what they can do.
Well, Chris, you're travelling lots of horses every year, but none as special as Black Caviar.
No, certainly not this year, no. I mean, previous to this, I always saw Olympic horses, and shuttle stallions are pretty high profile, but I think with the Australian passion for Black Caviar, it's taken the cake.
What are some of the extra measures that IRT and Singapore Airlines have gone to with this special cargo?
Look, it's been really a team effort, not only from Moody's stable from the start, sort of working on it about 9 months ago. The owners willing to have her travel on her own in an air stable on her own. And then Singapore Airlines and ourselves have been working on things like tightening up the schedule. The loading tonight, you would have seen she was the last bit of cargo to be loaded, so she wasn't waiting at the airport too long. And just those little things which hope will make a difference in the end.
We saw her get onto her air stable. Now, how many horses does that normally carry?
Look, typically an air stable will normally have 3 horses in it. So I suppose you could call that economy class when there's 3 horses in it, business class when there's 2, and she's on her own, so she's in first class.
And first class all the way. She's sitting up the front of the plane here. What else is on the plane?
Yeah, look, the reason she is sitting up the front of the plane is throughout the trip there will be more cargo coming on and off the plane. And if she's up the front, she won't get disturbed. That'll happen behind her, so she stays in the same position. On this plane right now, there's an A380 engine, there's some fruit and vegetables, and another little bits of mining equipment and things like that. So there's quite a mixed bag on board.
With the stopovers, 2 on the way, do any other horses get on?
At the moment, there are scheduled horses get on in Sharjah. One of the Sheikh's families are putting some horses on there. We had a discussion with them when we found out that was occurring, and they were kindly enough to drop the colts they were going to travel, and they're only going to put mares or geldings on if they do put any on. So they'll be at the back of the aircraft, which is 28 metres away from her as well. So with Singapore Airlines, we've worked to make sure they stay segregated also.
So with the travel, we're about to see her depart here. How long is it going to be door to door, and how long are those stopovers?
Look, at the moment, the stopover in Singapore is around about 2 hours 45. The scheduled stopover in Sharjah, which is the second stop, is 1 hour 10, and then she's off to London. So I would think she's going to be around about, from now, about 30 hours before she gets to her stable in Newmarket.
And she'll remain in that one spot. She doesn't have the freedom to move, of course. She doesn't come off at those stopovers.
That's correct. She'll remain in this air stable, on board the aircraft, locked in the same position. The only ability that they do have is to make more or less room for her in that air stable during the flight, depending on how she's behaving.
It's a world famous, or certainly an Australian famous photo of Farlap being loaded onto the ship 80 odd years ago, and we've just seen the modern day equivalent.
Yeah, straight up the high loader into the nose of the aircraft. It's quite a change of technology since back then, and it'll be fascinating to see when the next great horse is probably generations away again before we see a horse like this, and I wonder what's going to take them then.